This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. The number of influenza-related deaths in Tasmania is climbing. With confirmation tonight, it's now risen to 14. It comes as new data reveals a significant spike in influenza notifications, with new medical beds opened to assist in emergency presentations.
Touring the relocated renal dialysis unit.
You're a brave man having us all here.
The Health Minister says it will free space near the Royal Hobart Hospital's emergency department, allowing 8 new short-stay beds and recliners to come online next week.
So to reduce the time that a patient is in the ED, additional beds are now going to be available for a more appropriate care to be provided.
If it's a medical type patient who needs like a 24 to 48 hour stay, they're the sorts of patients that we would be putting into those beds.
The hospital today reducing its escalation policy down from its second highest level, despite a higher than usual influenza season.
It's how we've actually managed the flow with opening extra beds and utilising extra spaces throughout the hospital. And it's also the way that you triage your patients through the EDs. The
number of influenza cases have spiked over the month of August compared to the state's 5-year average. The latest FluTas report showing more than 1,200 notifications were made last month, compared to just 321 in July. The Health Department confirming a rise in influenza-related deaths as high as 14, up from 6 at the weekend.
We do know that each year there are deaths that are related to a flu outbreak, and often it's for people who are already in a weakened medical state.
The state opposition says the new short-stay beds will do little to ease ramping, as seen last night.
When you've got 14 ambulances ramped outside of the emergency department already, those 8 beds are only a drop in the ocean as to what's actually required.
Another 30 extra medical beds are expected to open before the end of the year. Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
A woman has had a lucky escape this afternoon after losing control of her vehicle and smashing into a rocky embankment on the Channel Highway in Taroona. Passers-by stopped to pull the woman from the upside-down car and say she was unharmed but understandably shaken.
This is just another example of how weather events can cause unpredictable conditions on the road. Just reinforces how Tasmania Police urges all motorists to drive to the conditions.
Dangerous road conditions are expected to continue over the weekend. A man found guilty of attacking his estranged wife with an axe in a Tasmanian shopping centre has had his sentence for appeal rejected in Hobart's Supreme Court today. William Henry Richardson appealed the length of his 7-year sentence on the grounds it was manifestly excessive. The attack took place in front of his children in March last year. Mr. Richardson represented himself and appealed on the basis the judge had not considered his good character or deep attachment for his children during sentencing. He will not be eligible for parole until the end of 2020. Workers at Murray Goulburn's Edith Creek factory, which is set to close its doors later this year, are being encouraged to expand their skills training and look to the hospitality and tourism industries for employment options. 120 staff members are set to lose their jobs when the facility closes. A hospitality awareness session was held at Tall Timbers in Smithton today, run by the Tasmanian Hospitality Association. It's one of several forums to assist workers in the transition. The producer behind Sydney's iconic Vivid Festival is outlining her plans to take the taste of Tasmania to new heights. Tonight, we've been given a preview of what's in store for the popular summer festival, set to breathe new life into the almost 3-decade-old event.
It's Tasmania's premier summer festival, but this year the Taste of Tasmania will be spearheaded by Brooke Webb, former producer of Sydney's Vivid Festival.
The nature of what I do is kind of storytelling in an event form. So you want people to walk away and feel like they've been moved by something.
A new producer backed by an independent board, hoping to breathe new life into the 29-year-old event.
What we want to make sure is it showcases all great things about Tasmania, and it also brings life to the whole waterfront area, not just the Taste Pavilion, but the whole well of Salamanca and the businesses around it.
We need to showcase the vibrancy of our state to encourage people to come back and or to make a decision to come.
This year's festival expecting to see up to 70 stallholders with a pending drop in the turnover levy.
It's also a means of way that you work out how you're going to present your product and how you're going to operate, how efficient you can be. You've got to present something that customers really want.
And while this year is financially secure, the Hobart City Council is considering its viability beyond 2018, preparing a business case for state government investment.
We never know. We have to probably do a little bit of arm wrestling, but generally I think as long as our case stacks up, I think they'll be fairly reasonable.
There's just 3 months until Taste 2018 begins. Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
With the cold winter days almost behind us, Tasmanians are starting to hit the shops. New figures show retail turnover in the state continues to rise, and retailers hope it will keep getting better.
As thousands of Tasmanians are expected to spend up big at the Tasmanian Outdoor Boat and Caravan Show this weekend, new ABS figures prove we're continuing to splash out.
This is our major fundraiser for the Tamar Yacht Club. It's the 5th year that the show's been running, and we're excited because this is the biggest it's ever been.
Around 10,000 patrons are expected to flood the Silver Dome for the 3-day event.
Well, we can see by the crowds here today that there's a real enthusiasm within our community, and that was reflected in the retail trade figures that have been released, showing that Tasmanian retail trade is growing faster than anywhere else in Australia.
In July, Tasmanian retailers took in an estimated $523 million. But while the stats are climbing, some retailers say it wasn't the best season.
A little bit quieter over winter, if we're being completely honest, but I think everyone's enjoying the fact that the sunshine is coming out.
Throughout winter it has been a little bit quiet customer-wise, but as it's picking up now, seasons heading into spring, we are seeing the change with customers, and it is, starting to look a lot brighter for us.
Many shoppers now making the most of the winter sales and new arrivals.
We've got beautiful spring products coming through, so lots of bright colours always brings customers out, which is lovely.
And with 108 days left until Christmas, stores are expected to get a whole lot busier. Monika Dadson at Southern Cross News.
Environmentalists and 2 tourism operators have filed legal proceedings today challenging TasSal's Oakhampton Bay salmon farm. The parties are seeking an order for the Federal Environment Minister to provide reasons behind the fish farm approval. The development was given the green light by the Environmental Protection and Biodiversity Conservation Act last month.
We're taking action here because we believe there's a very strong case here. How can the public respond to ministerial action if the minister doesn't give reasons for that action?
Preliminary hearings will begin in Hobart's Federal Court next week. The latest underwater tracking technology is being used to save an endangered Tasmanian species from becoming extinct. Scientists from the Institute of Marine and Antarctic Studies are looking at the impact decreasing oxygen levels have on the creature.
The Maugean skate is the subject of a new IMAS study in Macquarie Harbour.
Totally unique, only known from Tasmania, and Macquarie Harbour and Bathurst Harbour are the only known locations of this species anywhere in the world.
These researchers using groundbreaking sensor technology threw a tag on the creature's tail, with information emitted through acoustic signals to listening stations around the area.
Receivers then will tell us where the skate is, what depth it is, what oxygen conditions it's experiencing.
Scientists say numerous factors, including controversial salmon farming, have led to dissolved oxygen levels and impacted the health of the harbour.
About collecting this data to understand in the environment as it is, how do we best manage farming so that it can stay there long term.
The study monitoring the risks this changing environment has on the physiology, behaviour and survivability of the species. Scientists also working to determine the impact it has on the eggs, but they have to find them first.
It's really looking for a needle in the haystack.
The study is expected to continue until December 2019. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
Children at childcare centres across the state today have learned an important message about personal safety. The Ditto Keep Safe adventure, run by Bravehearts, teaches children how to say no to inappropriate touching and encourages them to tell someone when they're feeling uncomfortable.
We're here to protect children, and the way that we do that is to provide them with the message of helping them to understand what their body is saying to them, so in a fun and friendly, interactive way, so they enjoy it, so therefore they remember it.
The program has educated more than 750,000 children since its inception in 2008. Spring has certainly sprung at Hobart's Town Hall, with the annual Daffodil, Camellia and Floral Art Show opening its doors today.
There are two things in the world that are great. There's singing and there's flowers and gardening. And so the flowers are just beautiful and makes everybody happy and smile. And
Green thumbs can visit the blooming, beautiful displays from 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and entry is free. Music and art lovers have only 2 more days to enjoy the events of the Junction Arts Festival. This afternoon, members of the Bad Dad Orchestra began warming up ahead of the band's performance in Princess Square tonight.
We're 9 dads who, I guess we like rock music and we like funk music, so we've just kind of put it together. I think it's just going to be a great night all around.
The band is one of 4 performing at the Square's Fountain Bar, which is free to enter. Junction runs until Sunday afternoon with a variety of free and ticketed events. A Melbourne man has tonight finished the 5th day of his epic solo walk from one end of Tasmania to the other, raising money for stroke survivors. But Sam T already has his eyes set on the next trek, walking around Australia.
2.5 years ago, at the age of just 29, Sam T had a stroke. And while his recovery has been quite quick, others are not as lucky.
I'm fully recovered now, and I've met a lot of people that have not been as fortunate as me with their recovery, and now I want to do something to give back.
He's set off on a journey some only dream about, walking solo from Devonport all the way down to Hobart.
Hopefully I'll be in Hobart by next Friday. I might need to chip into Saturday just to get a few extra Ks out of the way to get it done, but hopefully finish in the harbour in Hobart.
It's been so far so good, but Sam is the first to acknowledge the help of Tassie locals along the way. Over the course of the trek, which started on Monday, Sam will have covered 289 kilometres. And if you thought that sounded like a long distance, Sam's now planning to walk around Australia next year. That trip, though, will be in a team.
We're going to go Melbourne to Adelaide, then across the Nullarbor to Perth, up to Darwin, and then across the other way and back down. So yeah, it should be a long year, about 14 months of walking in total, but it should be good.
All while raising money to help stroke survivors and their families. To donate, head to the possible crowdfunding website and search Stroll for Stroke. Jessica Moran, Southern Cross News.
Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has ended the day lower, while the Aussie dollar rallied through 81 US cents on strong housing data and a weakened US counterpart. The ASX 200 index dropped by 17.3 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at just under 81 US cents and 87.33 Japanese yen.
They haven't got within 5 goals of Clarence all year, but Sam Lonergan's Blues are still daring to dream after getting further into finals than anyone expected. But despite Lauderdale getting the better of them, Roos coach Jeremy Webberley says his side still has what it takes to claim a TSL flag.
After making easy work of the reigning premiers, the Blues travel south to Blunston once again this weekend, where they'll look to continue silencing the doubters.
There's no pressure on them externally. They're achieving things that I guess most of the state didn't expect, and then probably at times disrespected the footy club and players across the course of the year, and now they've got an opportunity to shine.
Lonergan's boys haven't come close to the Roos on the scoreboard this year, but with finals a different beast, the coach says don't expect the same result on Saturday.
Yeah, really positive. The feel around the footy club's exciting, and there's a real belief that there's an opportunity here again this weekend.
Chock full of talent, Clarence present problems for the Blues all over the ground. Jason Bailey is likely to get the job on Sonny Whiting. The experience of Brady Jones, Trent Standen and Ian Callanan could prove the difference, while Jake Cox always looms as a threat.
If we get focused too heavily on too many of their players, then obviously it takes our players' mind off the job and what we expect them to do for us.
The Roos will head into the match favourites, despite Lauderdale running over the top of them in last weekend's qualifying final.
I thought that last week was a step in the right direction. I thought we played some pretty handy footy for probably 85% of the game. I thought at times we controlled the game.
The home side will have to keep a close eye on Rulla Kelly Mansell across the wing. Jake Hines and Brodie Palfreman are two of the competition's best rising stars. Coach Sam Lonigan boasts 81 games at the highest level, and Sonny Whiting rarely misses a chance in front of the sticks.
Every coach in the TSL has probably said at some stage through the year that they think they're a genuine top 3 team. Look, we've come from 7th, so would anyone expect us to finish 3rd or 4th or even finish 2nd after the season? Probably not.
The opening bounce is at 2 p.m. tomorrow.
The Under-19 National Cricket Championships will return to Tasmania for the first time in 3 years, with a new format that will see day-night matches played at UTAS Stadium and Blunston Arena.
It's a culmination of the pathway, so it'll be the best players from around Australia who down the track we'll see playing at international level, and
have so many young players here all around in the hotels and the coffee shops around the city, so it's fantastic.
The tournament will see players vying for selection in Australia's 2018 ICC Under-19 World Cup squad and runs from December 4 to 15.
Good evening. Hobart and Devonport scraped to 10 degrees today. Launceston and St Helens reached 13, and that was the warmest over the state. Burnie 11 degrees. The cold south-westerlies brought showers and snow to low levels today, mainly over the west and south. The temperatures sat between 4 and 8 below average. King Island, Bridport and Friendly Beaches all 12. Flinders Island, Strawn and Wynyard 11. Lowhead, Campania and Bushy Park 9. Grove 7. Lyoweeney just made it into positive territory. Low-level convective cloud is over the southeast of the nation, with a frontal band of cloud over the Tasman Sea, extensive cloud over Western Australia and also the Territory, and mostly cloud-free for the rest of the nation. Closer in, cold convective cloud streamed over Tasmania, blasting in from the southwest. Tomorrow, a high-pressure system moves towards Victoria and dominates most of the country. An inland trough is along the coast of WA, with another over Queensland. Southwesterlies at 15 to 25 knots around the coastline, with 4-metre swells in the west and south, winds picking up to 30 knots inland. A flood watch is current for the Derwent River, a strong wind warning from Sandy Cape to Stanley, and from Flinders Island to Low Rocky Point, a frost warning for many forecast districts as well. We also have a warning to sheep graziers for the southeast, a bushwalkers alert for the western and central plateau areas, and a road weather alert warning of snow and ice. So the conditions continue into tomorrow, with an afternoon shower for Hobart, 13 the top, just 10 for Medina, partly cloudy for Oatlands, a cold start, and 10 later in the day. Launceston, an early frost, partly cloudy, 15 degrees, 14 the top for Devonport. Lyoweeney, a frost and a possible shower, up to 5 degrees though. For Burnie, partly cloudy and 13, a top of 12 for Strawn with a shower or two, Marrawar a shower and 12 as well. And for St Helens, partly cloudy, 15, 14 for Swansea, Orford partly cloudy and 13 degrees. On Sunday, fine apart from a shower over the west, far south and Bass Strait Islands. Showers over the west on Monday, extending to most districts during the day, and those conditions continuing into Tuesday before easing later. A possible shower in Perth tomorrow, partly cloudy in Adelaide, a possible shower in Melbourne, a sunny 19 in Sydney, which is good weather for swans, which reminds me I better change this tie, and sunny and warm weather further north. Right, that's fixed. It's now 5 degrees and cloudy in Hobart, partly cloudy in Launceston, 6 right now, and mostly clear in Devonport and 6 degrees. Bit of sport going on this weekend, Joe. We've got Olympia and South Hobart in the League Cup final. Olympia haven't beat South Hobart for a couple of years, so that'll be a hoodoo to be broken. Lots of also minor football finals happening, particularly Bracknell versus Rochely to play South Launceston in that game, and lots of other games right around the state. All the best of the footballers getting out and putting the laces on tomorrow.
My word, Murph. Indeed, that's for sure. And of course, tonight I'm going for Richmond, because your wife deserves some happiness in her life, and it will make her very happy if Richmond wins. So good luck, Donna. Well, that's all from the news team for now. Thanks so much for your company. Of course, we'll be joining you a little bit later this evening with updates. See you then.